Hi, hello, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Now, what was I talking about? My name is V Noir, and this week I'm very tired, and I've been very tired. Yeah, it's like I meant to record an episode for last week, and then I was just so exhausted. I've been moving a bunch of stuff for my day job and everything. I'm really trying to figure out, like, should I be here? I'm looking at the waveforms right now while I'm talking. I just don't understand. Whoa. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep keep going. But yeah, I've just been moving a bunch of stuff for my job because we were given a short amount of time to move a bunch of shit. And it's just been me and another coworker and not really anyone else. It'll be me and one person. It's been one consistent person for the last few weeks. But either way, I'm just like, this would be done sooner if I had more help. And we were trying to be a bit more organized about it and have everything sorted and stuff so that when we move it up, it'll just look nice. But near the end there, that just wasn't happening. So, yeah, it's been a fun time. Been a fun time. And then I had to move storage units too during was that last week? One of these weeks. But yeah, it's just been so fun. Um, oh, I see what just happened. I'm not fully prepared this week, of course. I'm just kind of doing it on the fly. I usually God damn. Um, let's not do that. I usually have things written out for me to pull from and all this stuff, but not today. Let me do this. Yeah, I was just taken off guard because I was trying to go to the IMDb for this movie that I'm going to talk about called Devil in the Flesh. But when I go to the IMDb, it brings up this user review of it, and then the user review is under a different movie called Dearly Devoted. But it is the same movie, but for some reason it just, I don't know, it has two different names, which is kind of odd, but interesting that this would have happened. Um, I don't think there was anything else. Oh, I wanted to talk about television shows briefly because my roommate has been watching more of these thrillers and stuff on Tubi, and I've just been exhausted in my room going to sleep or just laying down because all the um moving and stuff, so I've been physically exhausted, and so she'll be in the living room telling me the lowdown of a movie, and then as as a palate cleanser she'll start watching Moesha. And Moesha was one of those shows that, yeah, I kind of grew up on it, but um I don't know. I just didn't like Moesha as a character. I mean, I appreciate it now, of course, because it's like having diverse Black stories is phenomenal, and we really don't have that at all. And then, of course, I had to go through a deep dive again about UPN, which was the network that Moesha was on, the Parkers was on, which is a spinoff of Moesha because Kim Parker is Moesha's friend, but then I don't know, she moves away or something and they get her own show. And this was it was Countess Vaughn and Monique playing Kim Parker's mom. And I loved the Parkers more than I loved Moesha. Like, I distinctly remember watching the Parkers way more than Moesha. So, but either way, I was like, I didn't really like Moesha. What else was on UPN? One on One, Girlfriends. and apparently girlfriends when so what happened was UPN and the WB combined and created the CW. And we know how the CW is doing. Really bad. But so Moesha got canceled before that merger happened. Girlfriends was able to survive the merger, and its final season happened on the CW after that merger. I didn't realize that UPN only existed for like a few years before that even happened. Um, which is pretty wild to me because it's like, whoa, UPN was able to produce all these like phenomenal show. I like, ha ha ha. I just said that, and then I'm on the Wikipedia again, and I'm like, actually, no, UPN has existed for. Here, let me. Okay, well, it seems like after kind of. I love Wikipedia, man. Kind of going down a little Wikipedia thing. But there was like a 1948 date, and I was like, what are you talking about? But that was more to do with like Paramount as like network and everything like that because let me double check. I want to say yeah, Paramount was one of the parent companies of UPN and no wait, sorry. Viacom was the parent company and Time Warner was the parent company of WB. I'm like, I kind of forget about Viacom. I kind of miss the Viacom, like at the end of stuff. It was kind of scary a little bit, but also it was just like it felt like all powerful or whatever. And now they're way more in the background. I think like they're not as like in the foreground like they used to in like our programming and stuff. But I do believe they still exist. Okay, well it exists, but not as the old iteration. There's like a newer iteration of it where it's like split, and the split happened in like 2005, I guess. But I'm just like, okay, this sounds weird, and like you're just trying to get more money from people. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, so I hadn't watched Moesha really because the beginning scenes. I mean, I was kind of talking to my roommate about this, but it's like the because she was so mean and like rude to her friends and stuff, and I just didn't like that. I didn't like her character. I was just like, why are you behaving this way? And then thinking about that and how I felt growing up about that, and then thinking about other shows that I didn't necessarily watch, um, like Courage the Cowardly Dog, which I've been thinking about because of that movie Good Boy, which I need to watch and we'll hopefully talk about next week. Um, like I didn't watch that show not because it was creepy, because I loved creepy shit and I still love creepy shit, but because Eustace was so mean to Courage. Like I hated that. I was like, why are you always yelling at him? He's literally trying to save your goddamn life, you piece of shit. I mean, I didn't curse as a child, but I felt a way. And it's like, oh yeah, if I think about escapism and wanting, to watch cartoons and television or whatever, as a form of escape from like my lived reality because it's like, I grew up with parents who would always argue and things like that. It's like I don't want to see that on television. Like I don't want to see that in my cartoons that I'm trying to escape from this reality right now, and that's like more of a hindsight perspective on like why I didn't really um, want to watch something like Courage the Cowardly Dog or even watching something like Moesha, even though Moesha is way more tame compared to like Eustace literally like screaming at that dog. And it's like, I'm excited to watch Good Boy though, because the director confirmed that the dog doesn't die or any harm happens to the dog. The dog is the director's own dog, which is really cute. The director and the producer. And there was like the promotion for it has been so adorable. They had like a red carpet event with the dogs. It was really, really cute. And I'm like, ah, I need to watch this. I think it's gonna be on Shutter too, so if I do miss it in theaters, I can watch it on Shutter when the theater run is over. So I'm not as concerned. Like I am concerned, but I'm not. But there's also the new Guillermo del Toro. I'm like, that is his name, right? I don't know why I said it, and then I was like questioning if that was his name. Um, Frankenstein movie, which I haven't really watched any previews. I'm just like, okay, Jacob Elordi is Frankenstein, which he's a tall fucking man, so that makes sense. And I think we're getting like sexy Frankenstein finally because um I'm like I need to reread Frankenstein. It's been so long since I read it, but some people are saying that the description of Frankenstein was that he was beautiful, but in like a grotesque way. So I'm like, okay, so he is attractive and he's also supposed to have like long hair, I think. So, uh, Mary Shelley or whatever, first monster fucker, book ever. Um, but either way, I'm just like, um, I do want to check it out. Uh, Oh, I only brought up Moesha because finally we were watching specifically the last season of Moesha, and I'm like, wow, the writing went down. It was so inconsistent that final season. So I'm like, okay, I see why this got canceled. But the last episode ends on a cliffhanger. It's a terrible cliffhanger. And I'm like, yeah, 20 whatever years later, I'm late to this to be mad about this cliffhanger. But what do you mean it ends on not finding out if Moesha is pregnant or if her roommate is pregnant or something? You know, like, what do you mean? And also, she's going to end up with her childhood friend who she tried to date, but not really. Like, can we not have this happen? I hate this actually. Like, please. Oh my God. And then the dad's character was inconsistent in his behavior towards um I forgot Ray J's name in this, but Ray J is in this. I'm also like, who is my audience? I don't honestly I don't know who listens to me. I there's not enough there's not enough people to uh give me those sort of stats yet, so I don't really know. But in case you don't know what Moesha is, Moesha's the show that ended in like 2001. And like, yeah, 24 years late to this stupid cliffhanger. Moesha is played by the singer Brandy, who was super big during the 90s, early 2000s. She's been doing Broadway. Her brother is playing in this, Ray J, and his name is. Okay, so all of this hates me and doesn't want me to. No, I'm joking. And like Ray J was Dorian. His name is Dorian in this. Yeah. So her brother's name is Dorian, but then later on they find out like the secret of his birth, and he's actually like her cousin or something in this. And like the last season is him finding his birth mom and all this stuff, and trying to figure out why she would have given him up or something, and yada yada, like drama. And then it would be like they would introduce these plot points, and then like the next episode was just like, oh, we're not going to follow up with that. Everything's resolved because we were watching one episode where Shirley Ralph is in this playing Moesha's mom, but like I guess stepmom, um, named Dee, and she gets this offer to do like teach in Jamaica, and there was like a whole big plot point between her and Frank, who is the dad. He's played by William Allen Young, and he was really upset about her like leaving him and all this stuff. And then the next episode, she doesn't even show up. She's gone. She took the job. they even had like the younger brother, Miles, played by Marcus T. Polk, um, feel away and be like, "Oh, I don't want you," or whatever, all this stuff. I was also like, they don't give this little brother any sort of plot or anything. He's just like a one-liner little man who hangs around. I'm calling him little man in like a term of endearment. He was literally a child. I don't know why I feel like explaining that, but either way, yeah, that ending pissed me the fuck off because I was like, what do you mean we're gonna end it with this? With this? This is the last. This is it? Like, really? No. No, no, no. But anyway, so aside from that, I caught up with season 2 of Gen V. This is gonna come out. I'm recording this before watching the season finale, so I don't know what's happening on the season finale, but I am hyped and I'm ready. I don't know what's going to happen. I've also missed any discourse that anyone's been saying. I don't know what people think about the season right now. I mean, for me, the acting has been really good. It's also been kind of funny too because my roommate is like has no idea, has not watched The Boys, has not watched Gen V, was just sitting down to watch it because I was watching it, so I had to like fill her in on like the character motivations and stuff and like who everybody was and what had been happening and like explaining to her how it's a spin-off of The Boys, so it's not as it is still violent, but it's not. It's like it's taking place in a school setting, and The Boys is more of like a global show because everything's happening like everywhere all at once. But yeah, and then like explaining characters like Sage to her. Honestly, Sage has been the only character from The Boys really in this. I don't know who's gonna show up in this final episode, but I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I guess, I mean, I should have said spoilers earlier. I mean, I was talking about Moesha, but the show ended 24 years ago, you guys. So, I mean, even though I didn't know it ended like that, but like just in case. Sorry, I spoiled the ending, the really bad ending. And now we kind of started girlfriends, which is fun. I'm like, oh wow, I'm the age demographic for this show now because all the people and girlfriends are like in their late 20s, early 30s. And I'm like, ah, life is lifing. And why does this feel like my lived reality? Kinda. I mean, I'm not as successful as like Joan, who is a lawyer and stuff, but I'm working on it. I had to like reflect on my life, and it's also like I've spent a long time trying to stay alive, really, because of my depression and like suicidal ideation and stuff. So it's like every essentially, I didn't have enough energy to think past the next day, and now I'm in a point where I'm like, okay, let's actually figure out what I'm trying to do with my life and stuff. So, as much as I want to put myself down about it, it's like I was dealing with a lot and I honestly should have tried to do antidepressants or something, TBH, because like yeah, the struggle was real, but um I don't know, I'm just like we're doing our best. And yeah. um What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so with the boys, yeah, I'm just like Marie is going through it. And I saw like one thing where um someone was saying like they think Marie is gonna team up with Homelander or something. I'm like, are you dumb or are you stupid? Like, what are you talking about? Like, if anything, Marie is someone who has been self-sacrificing. She puts the safety of others above her own. And so she would rather go off. I mean, that's the only reason she's like gone off with Kate because she doesn't give a fuck about Kate. But she would rather go off and solve the thing by herself. Um, Especially because she does realize she is stronger than everyone. Um, but she'd rather do that than risk anyone else getting, put in danger. But it's like she's not thinking about the fact that these people care about her, and if she got hurt, they would feel worse about it because they could have at least been there to help her. So out she's taking away people's right to like choose to, be there for her or like help her out in this way. And just like completely ignoring that and just going off and doing it herself. And I feel like that also comes from her having lived in that orphanage and like having to, fend for herself because like that is her background and stuff. So it's like her in college, like last season, because that's when she started college. Like her, like this is the most people she's been around, like, and had in her life consistently and are being there for her. So I'm like, I like that it's written in a way where it's like this person is someone who's conflicted, and it's like she's got her sister back, spoiler. And her sister doesn't want anything to do with her. But that's also because Pam has been telling her whole life that your sister is a monster. And it's like, yeah, but Marie also lost her parents that day too. And she was also thrown in this awful facility and didn't know if her sister was alive or not, like her only family. So I'm like, I like how, I like how nuanced these characters are written. And it's not just good, bad, good, bad. It's very much gray area and also just this whole um array of like emotion. I mean, the sister is acting down. Like, oh my god, the sister is acting and I love it. Also trying to think Kate, I'm just wondering like what her motivations are, TBH, because I don't know. I just don't trust her cuz mainly because of her abilities, honestly. But I mean, what can she do? But it's also like I feel like because I don't trust her because of her abilities, it does feel like she just wants Marie to heal her so she can then, you know, like there's always gonna because she's broken their trust already and she hasn't done anything for them to believe in her again. It's like they're gonna always think she's gonna betray them. So until she does something different, it's gonna be hard to trust her. But it's also like seeing Emma and Sam interact more and like Sam it was nice for Sam to be free of Kate's like brainwashing and really come to terms with the fucked up shit that he did in the last season and how he ended up betraying Emma and everything like that and having to live with it and actually sit with it instead of like running away from that because that's what he was doing. And also him reconnecting with his parents and him learning about the history of mental illness in his family and realizing that it's not the V that makes him the way it is. It's literally just his genetics and also just him getting on new medication to help with everything. So it's like I like I like that aspect of him dealing with like his mental health, reconnecting with his family and everything like that. And also this role, um, not him, but his brother, um, ooh, I forgot his name, but he's played by Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, and it was my first time seeing him act. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can sing it out until I find it. LOL. I don't know why I said LOL in real life. I'm not gonna scream. Sam's brother. God, okay, his name is Patrick Schwarzenegger. He played Luke, which was Sam's brother in the first season. So it's also like we got some closure there with Sam talking to his parents and them bringing up Luke and everything. Also, because the actor, um, Chance Perdomo, who played Andre in the first season, he ended up passing away last year. And rather than recasting him or anything like that, they had him pass away in the show. And the characters like mourned his loss and everything like that. So it's like there's that level of realism between the cast, in character mourning this real person that they didn't know, which was really sad, especially with like Sean, what's his full name? Sean Patrick Thomas, who played his dad, and he looks really good. Not that he would look bad. I also don't like that there is no photo of him on here. Um, but he was in like Save the Last Dance, Cruel Intentions. Um, I think he was in not another teen movie too, but I don't see. Oh, let me see. Not another. Yeah, he was in not another teen movie, which I love that cameo from him because it was a cameo. It was literally a scene where the one black character in the whole film is at a party and he's like, "Whoa, there's only supposed to be one of us." It's like Sean Patrick Thomas has been the one black character in movies a lot in the 90s and early 2000s. So it was just like, it's just so on the nose and so funny. Um, but yeah, no, I've been liking the acting a lot this season. I've been liking the storytelling. I feel like some people are like, it's gone off, it's gone down or whatever. I, it's a show. It's a TV show. I'm like, they're writing things because it's not going to be concluded or it's going to get expanded on in the next episode. Like, that's how I'm anticipating it. And I would be upset, like with Moesha, where if you bring up a plot point and you don't expand on it in the next episode, like, why did you bring it up? What's the point? Like, I don't like that. Like, I actually legitimately hate that. Like, what are we doing? Like, did no one, like, write down anything? Like, were y'all not discussing with each other in the, like, writing room? Like, okay, so we're gonna introduce this, and then this next episode, because they even in Gen V, they do that with, what is it? There's, like, this character who can put stuff up his butt or whatever. And it's like they kind of foreshadowed that he would do something with that, and there was like a person in it in his butt, two people, and they were wearing diapers, and it's like they did that in the beginning, near the beginning of the episode, because later on we would see a character who just got like revitalized in a diaper walking out so it would look normal. Like they really just set it up, even though it was weird as shit. Which I was like, yeah, there's some like weird sex stuff, sexual stuff in this show. Me talking to my friend, and I'm like, yeah, they kind of do that sometimes. And I'm like, literally, there's the one scene where Kate tells someone to fuck off, but her powers are fucked, so the dude ends up like fucking a gnome or whatever in front of them. And I was like, and this is like maybe 5 or 10 minutes after my roommate sat down to watch the show with me. And I was like, yeah, I mean, so this doesn't happen all the time. Like, it was such a funny, like, weird thing to happen. And I'm like having to explain, like, okay, no, this is, they just, sometimes this happens. I don't, like, like having to explain away something. I'm like, no, it is weird. This is weird. But I guess this is like the only fucked up way they could show that Kate's powers don't work and she needs to watch how she says things. But yeah, so talked about the boys, talked about Moesha. So I think I'm gonna get into the movie. The other movie I was gonna talk about was Last Dragon, which I got to see a screening of, which was very fun. It's the 40th anniversary of Barry Gordy. I was about to call him Gordon. Barry Gordy's Last Dragon. This is very fun. I really like that. That's not what I wanted to do. It was really nice seeing it in theaters too because like, wow, the effects. And I'm like, oh, I still need to go on this deep dive into optical printers because it's like one of those things that's been brought up in my film classes of like how people used to do um special effects back in the day. It was optical printers, which was essentially like a projector, and you would project the movie like you already shot the movie, you project it, and then over the projection you do the effects, but at the same time you're refilming the film, and then you get a newer print which has the effects like caked onto the film essentially, something like that. It's like when I look at optical printers back in the day, they're like huge as well, so I'm like, this is kind of wild. These are big. But to get into Devil in the Flesh, which apparently someone uploaded the whole movie on YouTube. We watched it on Tubi though, or Dearly Devoted. Um, it stars Rachel. I don't know whose name I was about to say. Rose McGowan is the star. She's young, sexy, and dangerous. Debbie is a new girl in class with a skill for turning heads. From the moment she arrives in town following her parents' untimely death, Debbie sets her sights on her teacher, the high school heartthrob. And so it's very slow paced. Very slow paced. Like it starts with a fire. She's trying there's like firefighters and they're like trying to talk to her like, was there anybody else in the house, what's going on. She then gets sort of ushered to her grandma, who she wasn't really close to, like her mom wasn't close to her or anything like that. Her mom ends up dying in the fire, and this man as well, it's not her dad. I think her dad, they probably get into the dad, but he was kind of irrelevant, so I don't remember. Also, there's a dog in this, and the dog does die, but we do not um see like the actual death or anything. It's just like, don't. It's a cute dog, but dog's gonna die, unfortunately. I feel like I'm gonna try to warn people about animal death um in general whenever I come across it in a thriller or a horror movie, just to like have people aware. I mean, so far it's only been this movie and Fear, I think, so far. I don't know if I'll ever talk about the Godfather movies, but I know I'm gonna do like a whole series after Halloween. I'm gonna do a whole series of like um deep dives into like classic Hollywood movies, film noirs and stuff, which is where my namesake comes from, film noirs. So I definitely want to break down a bunch of these movies. Which I love me a film noir because that was like one of the first. I was so used to like the happy endings of like romances, even dramas and like rom-coms and stuff, that there was something refreshing about the sad and dreary ending of a film noir, which struck me as being like so different, especially during the time. And a lot of them were coming out during the Hayes Code, like when the Hayes Code was being instated, which was this set of rules and laws. Like it's censorship. It's censorship because right before that, movies were very gay, very trans, very out there, and the Code just kind of took that all away. It was like no, 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 no progression. So, and a lot of the movies are defined, they were destroyed, and that's not to do with like public destroying a film. It's just the film itself was very flammable. Like it would catch on fire on its own. So it wasn't just like, oh, the public wanting to destroy it, like the public destroyed disco, even though disco is not dead, but you know, some people would argue otherwise, but it's just evolved. Same with jazz. I mean, there's this whole thing about black art, specifically black music, being given these labels to describe them. And it's more so the audience understanding it because, like, with D'Angelo passing away, and people talking about how he didn't like the label neo soul, and how even people who were like his predecessors, people he looked up to, they didn't like terms like jazz or soul or anything like that. It's like people, black people specifically in America, would make music and sound for the times. It didn't, they weren't trying to fit a category. It's the label and the marketing that creates these categories, which is unfortunate. So it's like if I eventually get into music, it's not going to sound like, I'm not going to try to be emulating anyone. It's going to be my own sound, but people are going to want to categorize that. And I think that's also why I get so like confused with music labels in general, because I'm like, well, this sounds like this and this sounds like this. And I understand that there's labeling, but I just like listening to it. But anyway, so Devil in the Flesh or Deeply Devoted. I like Devil in the Flesh more. That's what it's called on Tubi. That's what this cover is. Um, very slow movie. At first you're like, okay, your grandma sucks. She's really religious, so that's why your mom was the way she was, because she was deeply traumatized. And kind of took it out on you a little bit, a little bit. Um, and her grandma was not letting her wear clothes she liked. She was like, why would I need to buy you new clothes? There's these clothes from like the 50s that are perfectly fine. And it's like, oh God, you're trying to make her look very prim and proper and like conservative, modest. And so she just started stealing clothes from the mall basically to wear to school and everything. And it's like, okay, yeah, like honestly, even based on the synopsis that I just read you, and even how this is paced and everything, it's like you would kind of think this is like, oh, like some high school drama or whatever, and nothing's gonna happen. But no, no, no. So we see a sprinkling of like, oh, what kind of crazy she is, Debbie is. Um, when this girl who's kind of like popular or whatever is just like, you shouldn't come to the Saturday donation thing to help out our hot teacher. He's not into you or whatever. And then like she pushes her and she falls to the ground. The popular girl pushes Debbie and Debbie falls to the ground. Later, I think either that same day or the next day, Debbie sees her about to walk down the stairs and she pushes her, the bully or whatever, down the stairs, and she breaks she breaks her leg or whatever and can't come to the little drive. And it's like, haha, that was extreme. Um, okay. And also, like, the teacher, he is attractive. I feel like I would like him a little longer. I would like him a little more if he had longer hair, but I digress. I think slightly longer hair would have framed his face better, but whatever. He's deeply in love with his girlfriend, who is a flight attendant, that he lives with, and she's upset with him because he had planned this donation for the school on the weekend that they were supposed to go out of town for their like anniversary. So she ended up getting some shifts and just flying off because she was upset with him because yeah, why would you do that? And he's like, well, I can't reschedule it. And it's like, I hate you. No, I don't hate you, but like that's so your one track mind about this stuff, and it's like you're in a relationship. And yeah, she's mad, but she's like, I just need space from you because what the hell? Like our anniversary, we literally planned all this and you just kind of forgot. Like, huh? And also it was just like I'm calling it a drive, but it was really just like a garage sale, and the money was gonna go to like a team or something. Like I don't even. It feels like something he could have really truly rescheduled. I don't know why. I guess they might have advertised it for a particular day, and it's like you can you can change the date. It's fine. People can just show up. But whatever. So it's just him and Debbie over at his house because the garage sale is happening at his house. And she there was like a Polaroid camera, and the friend that Debbie made takes a photo of Debbie and the teacher, and it's like the only time they're any sort of intimate, and by intimate I mean like just close. Because he like holds her a little bit, but like very like I'm a teacher, you're a student, you know, wanting to, still keep some level of distance. And I'm like, okay, I enjoy that. Like, literally, this teacher does not go out of his way to do anything with her because he's deeply devoted to his girlfriend. To kind of play on the other title for this movie for some reason. And so she goes into his house to go to the bathroom, quote unquote. She's really just lurking and looking through his shit. And the girlfriend had called the house to leave him a message about how she's going to come back on Monday. And Debbie ends up deleting this voicemail off of his answering machine. I'm like, do the kiddos know about physical answering machines anymore? I don't know. But either way. And then, of course, after Debbie does this, he shows up and was like, oh, what are you doing? And she's like, I was looking for the bathroom. Wasn't just looking through your photos and wanting your girlfriend to be out of your life and me to be your girlfriend. And I do like that, like there is an acknowledgement of like him being like, dang, she is really attractive. Because it's like it's not like she isn't. It's Rose McGowan. She's an attractive woman. I mean, I think she is like an adult playing a teenager anyway. But because I'm like, it would be like, okay, so you just don't have eyes. Like, I get it. But he does acknowledge that, but he's still just like, I'm not going to do anything with her. And okay, so she pushes that mean girl down the stairs. That's the first thing. Second thing that happens is she's fed up with her grandma's dog. And then this is when the dog dies. And then she's fed up with the grandma. And this is when the grandma dies. This time we do see the grandma like get beat up, and I'm like, oh, elder abuse. Thankfully, it's like it's one of those things where with horror movies and stuff, when things that are terrible happen on screen, I have to remove myself from it and sort of break down the scene because I'm like, that's terrible to see like an old woman get beat up. But I'm like, okay, I can tell that she's not actually getting physically hurt. They're adding blood to her, things like that. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she's not actually getting hurt, so but I think other people would view that as like bad acting or bad effects. And I'm like, no, I'm thinking about the genuine like care behind this and like hoping that she's okay, you know? And then what happens too is that the dog gets poisoned in a trunk, and she adds the grandma's body to that because the grandma at this had throughout this time made Debbie like sort of clean up the addict and put stuff together to be donated to a church who's gonna then go on like a missionary um uh not event but like just go on a mission and donate, like give these donations out. So the church pulls up with like a big old truck to pick up donations, and Debbie gives them the trunk that has these body, like the dead body and the dog in it. And they're like, "Wow, thank you. This is so much." And I'm like, "Haha, yeah, so much. Yeah. Not a dead body. Don't check it." They don't check it at all. And they just drive away. And Debbie's like, "Yeah, Grandma likes to give." She put her whole body behind this or something like that. Like something very on the nose about like the fact that there's a body in there and it's hers. And then so it's like after the grandma is killed, this is when like all the other killings happen, and she's like going on a killing spree basically because her social worker shows up, and her social worker starts questioning everything because she's like, "How's the grandma? That didn't seem okay. Like, I can get you out of this situation." Like the social worker was actually trying to do her job and get her out of that situation because she wasn't sure, but she wanted to be sure that Debbie was okay. But then Debbie's like, "You're encroaching a little bit too much, and you're out of here." And I was like, "Damn, that sucks," because she was this Asian woman, and I was like, "Oh, that's nice to see an Asian actress playing just like a regular role." The grandma does bring up something about her race, because I'm like, ugh, of course, this old woman does this. But either way, well, she was just like, "I didn't think you'd be Asian." And it's like, huh? Her name, what? I digress. So yeah, so she gets killed, unfortunately, and then this jock guy, who always sees her going out of the house, um, tries to assault her while she's changing her clothes from like the modest clothes to, well, now that I think about it, wait, did the jock die before the grandma? I'm not remembering the order of deaths, but there's a jock that tries to sexually assault her. She brings him up to the attic. He gets killed. Yada yada. And then the girlfriend comes back, the teacher's girlfriend. Oh, before that, there is a side plot of detectives trying to figure out if it was arson or if it was an accident with Debbie's like mom and everything in the house. And the autopsy, the person was just like, "Oh, well, this body, he was found stabbed." And they're like, "Yeah, so that's a homicide. We need to talk to Debbie about stuff." And then they finally get to the school, and the teacher, another teacher, is like being like, "You shouldn't be trying to sleep with students." And he's like, "I'm not. Literally, I'm not. I have not done that to anyone." And Debbie's been sending herself flowers, but with the teacher, like from the teacher, even though the teacher's not doing this. And it's like, huh? Like, literally, he hasn't done anything with her. There was this whole other scene where he thought his girlfriend was back home because, again, he didn't get that message. And it ended up being Debbie who who was in his shower because she got his spare key and everything. And I was like, "Oh my God, he's too trusting." And I'm like, "Oh, well, he is a teacher and that is a student, so he's gonna trust her, right?" So it was, yeah, there was just a lot going on, but so yeah, that was the only other thing that happened, and he was freaked out and was just like, I need this to not happen anymore because I don't want to have any involvement with you. And so what happens too is the girlfriend finally does come back. But before that, the detectives make it to the school. The teacher tells the detectives what's going on. The detectives tell him and the principal that in the previous school, Debbie um, was stalking one of the teachers there, and the teacher was trying to, get her to stop. And that teacher ended up dating her mom, which was the inciting incident that caused her to kill the teacher in her house and set the house on fire. So, so yeah, they're like, hey, haha, so we need to get Debbie. And then so they make it to Debbie's grandma's house, which is where she is. She's got a shotgun. It's the detective and the teacher, and there's this whole moment of like the teacher being like, "No, it's me. Like, it's fine. Like, I love you." Like he's trying to trick her or whatever. And the detective makes it into a house first. He gets shot, and then she runs away. And then there's a shot that goes off, and there is a body on the ground that looks like it could be her, but because they're wearing the same clothes, but it ended up being her friend that she was stealing clothes with. So she was stealing two pairs of clothes because I guess she big brained this and was like, I need to um essentially have a body double. And it's just like, whoa, you really thought about this. So now they didn't know where Debbie was. Debbie ends up being at the teacher's house and ties up the girlfriend, and there's like a whole showdown and everything. But then they get Debbie, and she's stopped, and the teacher and the girlfriend survive all this. And that's kind of the end of the movie. And I'm like, whoa, that was a lot. It's kind of not a sleeper hit, but like it does start off very slow, and it eases its way into the mayhem. And I mean, I just described a lot of stuff. It's not too gory, like not really. They don't go over the top with blood or anything like that. Like there is like when the grandma gets beat up, she gets a little bloody. When the jock character gets stabbed, there is a little blood there, but they don't overdo it. Like it's not a slasher, even though there's definitely a body count. But yeah, that was that movie. I love Rose McGowan. She hasn't really been acting. I'm like, this is the other movie that I'm talking about because she was the lead in Jawbreaker, and I'm like, what is she doing? Because I'm like, the first time I ever saw her was in Charmed, um, which I love Charmed, and then I don't remember um really finishing that, honestly. But and I definitely wasn't gonna watch the like reboot or whatever. Honestly, it seems like she's doing more like activist activism. There we go. Recording an album. Okay. I didn't realize she released music in 2018 and she just did a re-release in 2020 of that same album. That's cool. I didn't know she made music. Honestly, it seems like because she spoke out about the Harvey Weinstein thing, I mean, unless she just has no interest in acting, that could have like blackballed her a little bit. And I'm like, that's just so you care more about a terrible person than the victims that are being terrorized by that terrible person. Like I don't really like that. Anyway, so the other movie I was going to talk about is The Last Dragon. Came out in 1985. In New York City, a young man searches for a master to obtain the final level of martial arts mastery known as the glow. Honestly, I don't think he knew it was called the glow. That's just what ends up happening in the very end. You can kind of see it in the trailer. Actually, I didn't even watch a trailer for this. I just kept getting ads for the 40th anniversary screening at like AMC and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I want to see that," because my roommate, this was like one of her favorite movies growing up, and I'd never seen it. And I was like, "Oh, it'd be fun to have this be like my first experience with it in a theater." And it is very, very fun. I need to check something. I mean, Bruce Leroy was such a funny thing to say in the very beginning, but I was like, damn, black people do love them some Bruce Lee, and they do love them some kung fu movie. I don't know why I said they do. I'm like, no, it's definitely a we. Oh yeah, okay. He definitely. God, he was only 32. 32. Oh my God, he. I mean, not that I was alive in 1973, but he died a day before my birthday, which is wild. Um, I'm looking at Bruce Lee's birthday, like when he died. Um, yeah, I'm wondering. Well, he died in 73. I don't know. I mean, like, I was, because when I was watching it, it really much felt like a culmination of like that era of kung fu movies, love of Bruce Lee, and blaxploitation and things like that, all combined into this movie of having the lead character be a black man who is into like martial arts and kung fu meditation. I'm like, oh, he's so autistic. I'm like, his special interest is martial arts and becoming, finding a master and becoming as powerful, as strong as ever, and he runs his own like dojo and everything. And it was a good time. It was a good time. I'm kind of trying to figure out why it's called Barry Gordy's Last Dragon. I guess because he was a producer on it. He probably did the music too. Um, which makes sense. But yeah, Barry Gordy definitely like produced the music on this, which I love the music. I was also like kind of felt a little nostalgic about like when songs in movies would describe what's happening as it's happening, because there was like a whole glow song and everything when he did get to glow and all this stuff. And I think I missed the very, very beginning, not by much, of like Leroy. His name is not Bruce Leroy, but that's what Shonuff, a different character, calls him because he encounters him at a screening of a Bruce Lee movie. And he's wearing like the whole like get up of I forgot what those clothes are called. Because I don't want to just say like words. um what am I trying? What am I doing? But either way, so Leroy is on a journey to find a master to get him to the final level of like Nirvana and his mastery of, his fighting style and stuff. And so he is in the theater watching Bruce Lee, and then Shonuff shows up. He calls himself Shonuff. He's the shogun of Harlem, which I'm like, yeah, I mean that's Japanese, but but I mean they're not trying to mix it because they do like Shonuff definitely looks like this sort of his costuming phenomenal. First of all, I love the costuming in this, but Shonuff definitely looks like he is kind of dressed in this like samurai garb, but it's like mixed with um football player, like I don't know what it's called, but like the outerwear that football players play. But so his shoulders are like crazy, and then he's just wearing Converse, which is so funny. And he has these those blind shades, and it's got like a little Japan flag in the middle, and his hair is his hair, and it's a lot. I'm like, oh, this movie is fun. It was a fun time. I really, really enjoyed it. And it's like, so Leroy is dealing with Sho'nuff trying to fight him, and Leroy's like, I don't fight for fun. I fight to. Well, he doesn't tell him that, but he's just like, I don't fight for fun. But he does fight in order to protect and like that kind of thing, because like I'm like I don't have necessarily a full grasp of martial arts and like kung fu, but it's like a lot of how it's taught over here, with my understanding, is like it's more about self defense. Like you're not doing it to beat up people. You're doing it to either protect yourself or other people. So that's his philosophy on it. But either way, um, so yeah, Leroy is on this journey to find a master. In the B plot, there's this guy named Eddie who basically he tried to get his one of his bodyguards to become a wrestler, but then he lost one of his um matches and kind of gave up on him. So now he's trying to get his girlfriend to become a star on um this VJ's Laura show Soul Train. Or like not Soul Train, sorry. Soul Train is real. Her show is called Seventh Heaven, and it's similar to Soul Train. Ah, Soul Train days. I say as if I ever was able to see that. I mean, it existed when I could have watched it, but I didn't really catch it, unfortunately. But I'm like, that's really fun. Anyway, so he's been trying to get Laura to play this video that he produced for his girlfriend, starring his girlfriend, singing everything. And Laura's just been like, I've been too busy. I don't have time to watch any video or whatever. And Eddie just keeps getting more and more upset. And honestly, from the beginning, you can kind of tell like he doesn't really care about, like the guy becoming a wrestler. He doesn't really care about his girlfriend becoming a singer or like video star. It's just like it becomes more about him. Like these people are an extension of him because he's put time and effort behind these projects in that guy's like wrestling career. And when opportunity doesn't come for them, it means it's not coming for him either. So he's taking this rejection personally, and so he's just like, "Why don't you just bring her to me so we can watch the video?" And so this is when Laura and Leroy end up interacting because he somehow keeps coming across her. He crosses paths with her every time she's like almost getting kidnapped or getting kidnapped by Eddie's like men or whatever. So, and he just beats them up, of course, because he's there to protect. He protect. And um not that that's kind of the movie, but that is kind of the movie. And I was like, wow, I do really miss because I've been watching very specific things recently. So I'm like, oh, I kind of need to get back into um not necessarily fight choreography as if I've done fight choreography. I feel like in another life I would become a stunt person because I do enjoy I like what that looks like. I think that would be really fun and I kind of appreciate it, and I want to learn like Muay Thai. I was kind of trying to learn it like a few years ago, but then I was just like hella depressed. And I just didn't have the energy to do it. But not to go too far off, too far gone. But yeah, so Leroy realizes that because his younger brother points out that he wouldn't even know how to handle Laura. And I'm like, what are these things that these children are being made to say? I mean, the delivery is fantastic. And I'm like, wow, these children can act and like read a script and everything. But I'm also like kind of disturbed by what they're being made to say as if they're like adults, you know? Because I'm like, what is this kid talking about having moves and knowing how to use like his penis and shit? And not that he was explicit about it, but it was still just like, huh? Like, I'm glad that they weren't explicit because at least if the kid's reading it and he doesn't fully understand, but he's able to deliver it really well, it's like, okay, well, at least for his ears and mind, he's not um I don't know, like this doesn't mess him up or whatever, but either way, I was just like, oh, this is weird. Oh, Leroy's dad runs a pizza shop, which is really cute. Um, Let me see if, I'm like, come on, you guys, somebody write down the pizza shop. Um, so, Daddy Greens, yes, yes. But there's like a whole, oh my God, did somebody made merch for Daddy Greens? I kind of love it. Um, I don't. Is this a real place? Huh? Somebody created a real Daddy Greens pizza. I wonder if it's good. I think it's in New York too. So love that for me. That means I can't get it. Imagine doing delivery from New York to San Francisco. That would be wild. No one wants to give me the full quote. I just want a quote. Show enough. Show enough was funny. There we go. I was like, there was like a whole quote that they're just calling him Data Green in this page right here, but basically it was just like direct yo pizza to Data Green's pizza. Kind of loved it. That was so good. Um, God, this is a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. The fight choreography was amazing. Like I was saying way earlier, they do these really cool effects where he does glow. The glow goes around his body, and its actor Shonuff does it as well. And again, they're using like optical printing for this because that's how it looks like it does. Because that's how special effects used to be done. I think that was a similar thing with like matte paintings and stuff too, where it's like it is a physical painting. I'm like, oh, just imagine how like who even owns like the original matte paintings from the original like Star Wars trilogy, if those even still exist. I'm like, because if you think about it, it's like they probably made at least with the first movie, they could have made they could have did the matte paintings for that and then like destroyed them because they're like, oh well, it's just a movie, whatever. Like, like and then just gotten rid of them after. Okay, someone they're talking about 17 matte paintings from the original movie, but I don't know. That's like another deep dive to do later on. I didn't even mean to talk about matte paintings, but I really enjoyed the acting from Leroy. I'm like, he was just so innocent and precious. He was like, I've never been with someone. My friend, I mean, hasn't been with someone He was played by Timac? Why is he oh my god. I was just like, why does he have like a one name? And it's because he is oh wow, this is his first major role. That's really cute. I guess he's mainly done acting and like music videos, which is really cool. Broadway. He's worked with a ton of celebrities. Why does he only? Okay, he just goes by his first name. I was like, I thought he was doing like the one name thing because he was like a musician or something. So I was about to be like, whoa, is he a musician that I've like never heard of? But no, he's an actor. And he looks really good. Like, at least that was a photo from 2014. He's currently 61. I wonder if he did a screening. Also, Barry Gordy is alive and 95, which was interesting to find out. Um, and he's produced a ton of things for so many people, produced music for so many people, like Diana Ross. Oh, he just looks so nice. Motown. He was the founder of Motown. Of course he was. Which, if y'all didn't know, Motown is what inspired the K-pop sort of machine and like um how groups were created and stuff. I mean, they calmed down a bit, but even the photo card thing was from Motown era stuff. Not that. I mean, SM Town, very good example. Um, God, why can't I remember that girl group? I think I'm getting tired. Like I don't want to talk too much about uh Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls was the group I was thinking of because there was like early video and song of them where uh very reminiscent of like old like R&B from like the 90s and stuff. Um Lots of inspo, but I digress. I really for staging, for fight choreography, the music, comedy, an appreciation of kung fu movies, and just all around a good time. Like, The Last Dragon is a phenomenal movie. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's a good time. Like, it's low stakes because you're like, oh, well, this is still gonna end happily, hopefully, right? And yeah, I don't know. I think I might say more about it in my next episode, just to read up on it and stuff. But I really enjoyed it. It was a good time. I definitely want to watch it again. I want to get like it on DVD and stuff. Like it's so fun. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. I started a Substack. It should just be like at V Noir with the E at the end. You can find me on Instagram at V underscore Noir underscore. I have a TikTok that I don't post on. I have a Twitch that I haven't streamed on in a while. And you can find my podcast archive at www.nwwitapod.com. And also my Patreon, which I've simplified it and it's just going to be the film club where I would want to do like a monthly screening with people. So that's just V Noir's Film Club at patreon.com. And yeah, oh, my Substack, I basically, because for my Patreon and my coffee, I wanted to do like these zines where I break down like the actors and the characters because this isn't a visual podcast. So I wanted something that a person could look at while like listening to me talk about this stuff. But I think with the Substack, I'm going to use that as a way to sort of blog and break down the uh, actors and the characters and everything, like I was saying for the zine. But this will just be more public and easily accessible for people to just follow along. And maybe I'll put little tidbits and stuff in that as like a little extra something. I think that's fun. I haven't written in that way in a very long time, so it's been kind of fun. I've also been trying to do like kind of bulk do all of this because I'm like, oh shoot, I had to like basically do a post for every single podcast episode, and I'm like, I have so many pods. I mean, I have so many episodes. But anyway, yeah, I will see y'all next time. Bye.